Today on Outside the Box Reviews, we are looking at even more Universal Horror Minimates from Diamond Select. I guess you would call this Wave 2, at least the Toys R Us releases of Wave 2. We have the 2-pack of Henry Frankenstein and Frankenstein's Monster, The Bride and the Angry Villager, and Dracula and Van Helsing. And just to throw them into the mix, the Toys R Us exclusive black and white Frankenstein's Monster and black and white Dracula. These guys are, of course, just black and white representations of the other figures, so I'll touch on them briefly. But we'll cover the color ones in depth to get the full effect here. And just like with the Wolfman creature set, I'm going to go in chronological order here. We're going to start off with Professor Van Helsing, as portrayed by Edward Van Sloan, and this is a man that was in a lot of Universal horror movies. He was in Frankenstein, he was in Dracula, he was in The Mummy. So having this guy as a mini-mate could actually go with a lot of your different Universal horror figures, especially because he was just kind of a dude in a suit for most of those movies. I don't know if the glasses transferred over, I don't remember those, but very, very simple look. It does actually look a good bit like the actor, ironically, as much as you can with this cylinder head on a mini-mate. He's got his silver hair, his little ears there. Standard mini-mate suit. He's got more of a bow tie going on there. Very basic figure, not a whole lot happening, but a good representation of the character, and I like that he exists. As with any, he has a ball joint at his head, forward and back, side to side. Ball joint at his arms, bend at the elbow, rotate at the wrist, rotate at the waist, ball joint at the hips, bend at the knee, and rotate at the foot. Next up, we got Dracula, as played by Bela Lugosi, and this is very cool. I was very upset with the Select version of Dracula because it didn't really look a whole lot like Lugosi or anybody who's ever played Dracula. But this definitely has that look. He's got the classic widow's peak. My only problem actually is the fact that he has fangs, which is not accurate to the movie, but it's close enough to Lugosi that I feel like it could represent a Lugosi Dracula very well. He's got his cape going on here, which looks great. He's got his tux going on, the medallion around his neck painted. His hands, all of his skin is a paler color than the standard flesh tone, which is very good for mini-mates to do. And just standard pants down here. Now the cape is not removable. It is connected to his shirt here, so you can't take that off. And it's very hard to see, but it actually is painted red on the inside, which is really nice. Great attention to detail there. Then we have the black and white version of Dracula, which really keeps a lot of the same colors. Really just dulls down the flesh tone a little bit more, takes out the red in the cape and the medallion, and takes out the gold in the medallion as well. So not really that different of a figure. Next up, we have Henry Frankenstein, as portrayed by Colin Clive. Another decent likeness on the face. Once again, very hard to achieve on a mini-mate, but I think they did a decent job making it look like him. I love the messy hair, the little kind of lock that's flopping down the front, the rest of it kind of more slicked back. He's got his white lab coat on, which is really nice. Just a couple little pull marks in the front and the kind of skirt going down. Now that is theoretically removable. You can pop that all apart. So if you wanted him just in a white shirt with his gray pants, that's doable. No real detail on the pants though. This also does free up his articulation because of course with that skirt on, he's losing a lot of it. But very simple figure once again, but I like it a lot. Actually in the back here, we do have some ties for the lab coat or the gown or whatever he's wearing, which is kind of nice. Of course it makes having him with the pants seem kind of weird. And actually, if we put the bottom part back on, we can even see those ties continue down the back to where it splits. They're not painted black, which would have been a nice touch, but still decently done. Next up, we have Frankenstein's Monster, done in a nice green. They did a cap over the standard mini-mate head to give him that big brow on there. He's got his normal hair. He's got the bolt up here at the top of his head. Big clunky looking suit. I like that they have the sleeves like too short for his arms, so the wrists are sticking out. And his boots actually kind of have a greenish tone. They have that big thick bottom to them. But as you can see, my foot has a tendency to fall off. Actually, both feet have a tendency to fall off on this figure. So that is one issue I've had with him. Quite a bit, actually. And once again, a simple figure, but very much captures the look of the Frankenstein's monster. And then we have the black and white version, which same thing, just done in gray instead of the green for flesh tone. Not a whole lot of color on the monster, so doing it in black and white's not really a big deal. Next up, from Bride of Frankenstein, we get the Angry Villager, played by some random extra on the Universal backlot. But this figure comes with some cool accessories. We get a torch, a nice orange flame on top of what looks like just a twig or a tree branch. And we get a pitchfork, which is actually really nicely detailed. Some good wood grain in the handle there and a nice silver on the fork itself. Character's very cool. He's got this big hat on there, which is connected to his hair, so that's all one piece. I'm guessing you could probably find another Minimate hair if you want to have him hatless. He's got his beard going on, a very angry expression. We have an apron over a shirt. You can see the shirt, it's kind of pulled away, so you can see his chest hair poking out. And then the apron, mine's actually cracked, like the plastic's cracked, but it actually makes it look more worn and leathery. It's got his brown pants, black shoes. A simple figure, but I think it's really effective in what they did with him, and I think there could have been better characters you could have put in here. I would have thought a Dr. Pretorius would have been amazing for Bride of Frankenstein, or even the Blind Man, but this, you could do worse. Last but not least, the Bride of Frankenstein as portrayed by Elsa Lanchester. Very nicely done. She has her red lips, we have some scarring on the face, we have the giant hairdo. It's just iconic to the character going on, very well detailed. Her bandaged arms and the white gown in the front. She of course has the legs, the whole body underneath that, but why would you take that off? Once again, another simple character, but very well done. And actually, getting to this one, I really think the villager should have been Dr. Pretorius instead. It would have made a lot more sense for the movie, and it would have been the correct person to come with her, because if you've seen the movie, in the first movie, it is Henry Frankenstein's impulse to build the monster. It's his drive to do it. In the sequel, it really is Pretorius that's really pushing for the new monster and who kind of corrupts Henry to do it. So it would have been appropriate and kind of fit with the theme of the other pack. And once again, I am a big fan of these figures, and I'm going to give them all a very solid recommendation. I think there are some things that could have been improved. I also feel like Van Helsing would have been a little cooler if he came with a mirror or a crucifix or something to try to ward off Dracula with. Even a wooden stake would have been cool. Now, I believe the comic shop version that came out for Frankenstein were these 4 figures. I think it was just this set. But I think the Dracula set came with the addition of Mina and Renfield. And I kind of regret not picking that one up, because those would have been 2 cool additions to this collection. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, username Outside the Box Reviews. Also check me out on Facebook, link below. And until next time, this has been our Outside the Box Reviews. Stay tuned for more to come.